Okay, second Glass Eye podcast. Today we're here with Bob Aleksivich, president of the Clearfield Soccer Association. Thanks for coming in, Bob.
Well, thank you for having us, Dave.
We've got a few questions for you today. Let's start out if you can talk to me a little bit about the history of the Soccer Association. How did it get started? Where is it now as compared to where it was in the beginning?
Okay, well, the Soccer Association started in the early 1980s by the YMCA. And after a few years, there were enough interested adults and people involved that they formed the Soccer Association. So we're not exactly sure what year that is, but it was still in the early 80s.
Okay.
Back at that time, the Soccer Association included the whole surrounding area, Kernsville, Bradford Township. They have since started their own soccer association. So there's I guess we were the founding for their programs as well. At that time, the program grew in the mid-80s to about 200 some kids playing soccer, and then continued to grow.
Mm-hmm.
We are now this past spring at 350 kids playing soccer, over about 30 different teams.
Okay. What are the different age groups? I know most of them, but just for our viewers.
Well, the neat thing about soccer is kids can start excuse me, at 4 years old. We call that our Pee-wee soccer. 4 or 5 year olds are our Pee-wee program, and then we move on to U8, U10, U12, U14, 16, and 18. So about every 2 years they would advance to the next age bracket.
All right. As you know, there's a lot of different choices for kids today. What do you think sets soccer apart? What is the appeal? And I have kids that play, so I know what the appeal is for mine. What do you see as the appeal?
Well, it's a very good question. I think in the early years, if you think about it, again, 4 or 5 years old, you can buy a pair of shin guards, which are a necessary part of the equipment. But beyond that, that's the only necessary equipment that gets started. We start at young ages, so it's a good activity for kids to get outdoors, to start to socialize with other kids their age, run around and enjoy the time at a low cost to get involved. But what we think is more exciting is that once kids and even parents that maybe didn't know soccer growing up, because soccer still is a relatively young sport in our area,
yes,
compared to the other sports. I think once they get involved, they recognize that soccer is a non-stop, action-filled game. All the players are getting in the game at least 50% of the time, and at any given second, the ball could be at their feet. As opposed to maybe some of the other sports where the ball, on occasion comes their way. In soccer, they're usually engaged in the play and non-stop from the time the whistle blows to the conclusion of the game. So I really think that there is an excitement there of soccer that kind of draws people in once they get exposed to it.
I would agree, and I also think that for me, for my kids, the fact that there's such a low injury probability, it's not a contact sport, and so I think that helps a lot of times too.
Yeah, you're right. Another area I want to bring up was the physical fitness aspects. As kids grow through their early teen and into their teen years, that physical fitness it benefits them. And in soccer, of course, it's primarily running, a lot of running activities. So they can maintain or develop a good fitness through that sport. We also offer different levels of competition as the kids get older. So depending on their interest level, if they're interested in really performing at high levels, we have that available to them. If they're looking more at just a social fun activity, we also have that. So it's we can meet the players at their interest and levels of play.
What in your mind are some of the best memories for you over the past few years? How long have you been president?
I've been president for 5 years. I've been involved with the Soccer Association for 8 years now. I got involved because my daughter showed an interest in soccer at the age of 4 or 5, and my wife at the time encouraged me to get involved with her in that sport. And again, when I say about what the attraction of the sport was, the more I got to know the sport, the more I came to appreciate it and love it, and eventually got involved with the Soccer Association. The memories for me, having coached 8 years, is the kids. And I know that from the Soccer Association standpoint, it's all about the kids. That's the sole reason for our existence. And so most all of our pride and all of our enjoyment comes from the fact that we get to see kids come to know a sport and enjoy it and benefit from it, and community benefits from it. Some of the more I guess interesting stories would be, or not necessarily interesting, but meaningful stories to me, is that we host a tournament every year at the U8 and U10 age group.
Mhm.
There are over 200 kids that participate in that tournament. And when we've estimated between the kids and the coaches and the parents, they're cheering, and the volunteers, that there's over 700 people at the soccer complex
Really?
that particular day. And I participate in that as a volunteer, and just stepping back for a few minutes and taking that all in is a meaningful memory to me, to see that many people come together for an activity like that here in town.
Definitely.
Also watching our kids grow in the sport. I've been around long enough now to see kids that I saw playing at maybe that 12, 13-year-old age group that are now playing in high school. Some are off and playing in college. We estimate 20 to 30 kids out of Clearfield have gone on to play college soccer.
Really, that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
I didn't
so
realize it was that high.
it is. We've actually have had a very successful program here at the high school level, and we believe the association has had a big part of that. This past spring, 10 high school girls elected to come back and contribute their experiences and their knowledge to the younger generation, and they helped out on 5 different soccer teams this past spring, and not only it was a win-win situation, not just for them, they enjoyed it enough to want to come back, but it really inspired a lot of these younger girls to have been coached by the high school girls, and get the excitement that they have from the sport from them. So
That's great. That's great.
it's another